Introduction. The mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle, also called the Devil's Triangle, has fascinated, terrified, and puzzled the world for decades. Situated in the western North Atlantic Ocean, the area is roughly bounded by 3 points: Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Inside this vast stretch of sea, thousands of vessels and airplanes have passed without incident. But dozens of high-profile disappearances have turned the region into a legend. Why did certain ships never reach their ports? Why did experienced pilots vanish without a distress call? These questions seeded one of the greatest modern mysteries. Over time, the story of the Bermuda Triangle has transcended geography to become a cultural symbol of the unknown. It is not merely about lost vessels, it is about humanity's relationship with mystery itself. Scholars, scientists, and storytellers alike have used the triangle to explore the limits of explanation, the fragility of human technology, and the vast, untamed power of the sea. Geography and boundaries of the triangle defining the Bermuda Triangle is not as straightforward as drawing 3 dots on a map. Different authors and researchers have traced its lines in slightly different ways, which expands or contracts its area from 500,000 to nearly 1.5 million square miles. Its most common definition places its vertices at Miami, Bermuda, and San Juan. Within this perimeter lies a maritime and aerial highway bustling with traffic. Geographically, the region is home to volatile weather patterns, the Gulf Stream current, which can carry away debris at great speeds, and some of the deepest oceanic trenches on the planet. These features combine to make the triangle not only a natural hazard zone, but also a perfect stage for myths of vanishing vessels. When storms form suddenly and currents erase wreckage swiftly, the human imagination fills the void with stories of portals, curses, or supernatural interference. Early mentions and maritime legends long before the 20th century press began speaking of the Bermuda Triangle. Sailors whispered of strange events in these waters. Ancient mariners crossing the Atlantic noted periods of dead calm followed by sudden, violent squalls. They spoke of eerie lights that flickered over the waves and compasses that spun unpredictably. These accounts became sea lore, passed between generations of sailors as warnings about a cursed stretch of ocean. By the 19th century, tales of ghost ships vessels found adrift with crews missing fueled the reputation of the triangle. Some stories were grounded in real maritime disasters. Others were embellishments or outright inventions. Yet together, they formed a tapestry of myth that would later be woven into the modern legend. When authors in the 20th century revived these old tales, they transformed scattered sailor stories into a global phenomenon. Columbus phenomenon. Strange observations Christopher Columbus. During his first voyage across the Atlantic in 1492, recorded in his journal that his crew observed peculiar lights while approaching the Caribbean. He also wrote about the strange behavior of his compass, which appeared to deviate from expected readings. For his sailors, already on edge during their unprecedented ocean crossing, these irregularities suggested omens of doom. Modern scholars suggest natural explanations. The lights could have been meteors, bioluminescent plankton, or fires on Caribbean shores. The compass variation was likely caused by the natural shifting between true north and magnetic north. But to Columbus's men, it was a frightening mystery at sea. This entry is often cited as one of the earliest documented encounters with phenomena later attributed to the Bermuda Triangle. It gave historical depth to the idea that the region harbors forces beyond ordinary understanding. Disappearances of ships and aircraft. The true allure of the Bermuda Triangle stems from the list of disappearances, both maritime and aerial. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, dozens of ships set sail never to return, and aircraft vanished from radar screens without explanation. Some incidents left behind no wreckage, as though the sea had swallowed evidence itself. Others produced ghostly remains, a ship intact but abandoned, cargo untouched, crew missing. Reports of aircraft vanishing in clear skies added to the intrigue. Critics argue that these incidents are not statistically abnormal for such a busy part of the ocean, but to the public, the pattern looked sinister. Each missing vessel reinforced the idea of the triangle as a hungry force consuming technology and lives. In the absence of concrete answers, imagination stepped in, weaving tales of supernatural abductions and hidden undersea powers. The case of the USS Cyclops in March 1918. The USS Cyclops, a massive Navy collier, vanished while sailing from Barbados to Baltimore with over 300 men aboard. The ship was carrying a heavy load of manganese ore. Despite being one of the largest losses of life in U.S. naval history outside of combat, no distress call was ever received and no wreckage was ever discovered. Theories abound: structural failure due to cargo imbalance, a sudden storm, enemy sabotage, or some more mysterious cause. The disappearance of the Cyclops set a template for the Bermuda Triangle legend. A large, capable vessel lost without trace in otherwise navigable waters. Even with modern technology, the fate of the Cyclops remains one of the most haunting maritime mysteries. The enigma of Flight 19 on December 5, 1945. A group of 5 Avenger torpedo bombers took off from Fort Lauderdale on a routine training mission. Led by Lieutenant Charles Taylor, the squadron soon reported navigational difficulties. Taylor claimed his compasses had failed and that he was disoriented. Radio transcripts reveal hours of confusion as the squadron zigzagged over the Atlantic. Fuel eventually ran low and all contact ceased. Search efforts were immediate. A large Mariner rescue plane was dispatched, but it had disappeared, believed to have exploded in midair. No wreckage of Flight 19 was ever found. This event became one of the most famous triangle disappearances, cited endlessly in books, films, and documentaries. It demonstrated not just the perils of navigation, but the uncanny feeling of aircraft vanishing in the modern era of technology. Other aviation incidents, while Flight 19 is the most iconic case. Many other aircraft have vanished in the triangle. In 1948, a DC-3 passenger plane carrying 29 people disappeared en route from San Juan to Miami, leaving no trace. In 1949, a British South American Airways tutor for aircraft vanished with 20 passengers and crew on board. Similar stories echo through aviation history, where planes simply ceased communication and never arrived at their destinations. Each new incident reinforced the image of the triangle as a deadly sky corridor. Though aviation experts point to storms, pilot disorientation, and equipment failure, the sheer number of cases in a concentrated area continues to fuel theories of supernatural interference. Magnetic anomalies theory, one of the most enduring scientific explanations for the triangle's mystery, lies in magnetism. Mariners and aviators frequently reported erratic compass readings in the region. Normally, magnetic north and true north vary depending on location, but in certain rare places, they align, a condition known as agonic line crossing. Some scientists believe that pilots unfamiliar with this phenomenon may have miscalculated their headings, leading them off course. Others suggest more exotic causes, natural magnetic disturbances, or even unknown geophysical forces. While modern instruments have reduced the risk of magnetic confusion, the theory persists, linking compass malfunctions to the legend of disorientation in the triangle. Depths of the ocean and underwater vortices, the Bermuda Triangle sits atop a complex and dramatic seafloor. The Puerto Rico Trench to the east plunges more than 27,000 feet, making it one of the deepest points in the Atlantic. These depths could easily conceal wreckage forever, explaining the lack of debris in many cases. Furthermore, underwater landslides, strong currents, and vortices can occur, creating sudden hazards for vessels. Rogue waves, giant walls of water exceeding 100 feet, have been documented by modern science and could overwhelm ships without warning. The ocean's capacity for violence and concealment provides a natural explanation for much of the triangle's dark reputation. Methane gas and bubble explosions. In recent decades, geologists have discovered deposits of methane hydrates beneath the ocean floor. When destabilized, these can erupt, releasing vast amounts of gas into the water. Laboratory experiments have shown that methane bubbles can drastically reduce water density, causing ships to lose buoyancy and sink rapidly. If ignited, methane can also cause sudden explosions. Though no direct link to Bermuda Triangle disappearances has been proven, this scientific theory offers a compelling mechanism by which entire vessels might vanish without a trace, swallowed by invisible forces rising from the deep. Weather factors, storms, and hurricanes, the triangle lies in one of the most hurricane-prone regions of the world. Storms can develop quickly, intensify with alarming speed, and devastate anything in their path. Before modern weather forecasting, sailors and pilots often had little warning of approaching cyclones or squalls. Even today, rogue storms can surprise. Many recorded incidents in the triangle coincide with the storm season, suggesting that violent weather plays a significant role in accidents. The reputation of the triangle may thus stem not from supernatural power, but from the sheer ferocity of nature concentrated in this corner of the Atlantic. Human error and navigational mistakes. Not all disappearances require extraordinary explanations. The sea is unforgiving of mistakes. A single navigational error can place a ship in peril, especially in waters with swift currents and shifting weather. Aircraft pilots may misinterpret instruments, miscalculate fuel, or become spatially disoriented when visibility drops. With thousands of vessels crossing the triangle annually, even a small margin of error can result in tragedy. While this theory lacks the romance of alien abductions or sea monsters, it remains one of the most plausible explanations for the Bermuda Triangle's grim statistics. Cultural influence. Books and movies, the Bermuda Triangle became a household phrase largely due to popular media. Vincent Gaddis's 1964 article in Argosy magazine and Charles Berlitz's 1974 bestseller, The Bermuda Triangle ignited worldwide fascination. Movies, documentaries, and television specials dramatized the mystery, often with little regard for scientific accuracy. The triangle was portrayed as a supernatural trap, an alien gateway, or a cursed sea. Cultural products magnified its myth, ensuring that even skeptical audiences remained intrigued. In many ways, the legend owes its immortality to art as much as to accidents. The triangle in mythology and folklore long before it had a name. The region of the Bermuda Triangle was surrounded by myths. Indigenous Caribbean peoples spoke of sea spirits and treacherous waters. Later, European colonists connected the area with tales of the lost city of Atlantis, imagining its ruins hidden beneath the waves. Folklore also linked the triangle to the Sargasso Sea, where windless waters trapped ships amid floating seaweed. These associations created a foundation of myth upon which the modern Bermuda Triangle legend was built, blending history, speculation, and cultural imagination. Comparisons with other anomalous zones, the Bermuda Triangle is not the only place on Earth with a sinister reputation. The Devil's Sea near Japan, sometimes called the Pacific Bermuda Triangle, shares similar tales of vanishing vessels. Ivan T. Sanderson's concept of vile vortices identifies a dozen such regions around the world, where magnetic anomalies and disappearances allegedly cluster. By comparing these zones, researchers attempt to discern whether the Bermuda Triangle is truly unique or part of a larger pattern of misunderstood natural phenomena. The comparison underscores humanity's tendency to see patterns and impose myth wherever uncertainty thrives. A skeptical view. What scientists say many scientists argue that the Bermuda Triangle is a manufactured mystery. Statistical studies reveal that the number of accidents in the region is not significantly higher than in any other heavily traveled part of the world's oceans. They attribute the legend to selective reporting, confirmation bias, and sensationalist journalism. From this perspective, the Bermuda Triangle is less a supernatural zone than a cultural invention, a mystery perpetuated by repetition and exaggeration. While skeptics may dampen the allure, their critiques are essential for separating fact from fiction. The role of media in creating sensation. The Bermuda Triangle's fame is inseparable from the media's hunger for drama. Newspapers in the 1950s and 60s realized that stories of mysterious disappearances sold well. Authors expanded isolated incidents into patterns. Television brought dramatic reconstructions into millions of homes. With each retelling, details were sharpened, natural explanations minimized, and mystery amplified. The Triangle became a brand of the unknown. The media's role in shaping its myth cannot be overstated. It transformed a handful of maritime accidents into a global legend. Why the mystery still endures. Why does the Bermuda Triangle continue to fascinate in the 21st century when GPS, satellite imaging, and modern science provide rational explanations? The answer lies in human psychology. People crave mystery. In a world increasingly mapped and measured, the idea that some places defy explanation is deeply appealing. The Triangle embodies our fear of nature's power, our suspicion of hidden forces, and our love of storytelling. Its persistence is less about evidence and more about imagination, which ensures the mystery will endure for generations. Conclusion. Myth, mystery, or unsolved phenomenon. The Bermuda Triangle is at once a real place and an invented legend. Ships and planes have indeed vanished there, as they have in other oceans, but cultural storytelling transformed those losses into something larger than life. Whether explained by storms, human error, or speculative forces like magnetic fields and methane bubbles, the Triangle reminds us of the ocean's dangers and humanity's fascination with the unknown. Its legacy is not in statistics, but in imagination. In the end, the Bermuda Triangle is both a cautionary tale and a cultural monument, a symbol of mystery that will always hover between science and myth.